Gibson have accused Dimarzio of committing fraud on the US Trademark Office. The news broke just a few days ago that Gibson initiated a lawsuit against Dimarzio Pickups for the cancellation of two of the company's trademarks. One for the word PAF or PAF when describing guitar pickups, and the other for the colour cream when used on double coil humbuckers. Now, it's not uncommon for Dimarzio's trademarks to be a topic of conversation, and normally when this conversation happens, the first question is, how can you trademark a colour? Well, it's more common than you'd think. If someone delivered a package to you dressed in a brown uniform in a brown van, it'd be safe to assume that that's a UPS. And the reason is because they've trademarked the colour brown in use in package delivery. It would be the same with a can of Coke. That red that they use is trademarked because it's one of the things that's very, very closely associated with the brand. And you could put that red on a car or a guitar and there'd be no issue. But if Pepsi put it on a can, there would be a problem because Coke have it trademarked. So Dimarzio have the trademark on a double cream pickup, and they've had this trademark since 1981, but this isn't the first time it's been challenged. Back in 2016, a first for trademark law in the US happened when a customer attempted to have Dimarzio's mark cancelled. Up until that time in US trademark law, it had always been a competitor attempting to cancel another competitor's trademarks. The competitor clearly stood to gain from this, but in this case, it was a customer who, according to the court documents, his main reason for doing so was that Dimarzio's trademark stopped him from getting his preferred brand of pickups in cream. This lasted all the way up till 2021, when he eventually pulled out and gave Dimarzio the win. It wasn't a court-decided win, but it was still a win for Dimarzio. But when I heard this story, I had one question that I just had to know the answer to. This guy initiated a lawsuit that was no doubt costly, trying to get his preferred pickup brand in the colour that he wanted. So I had to know, what was his preferred pickup? At the time, I preferred Seymour Duncan, because more of their pickups are more true to vintage specs than Dimarzio's offerings. But broadly, any competitor of Dimarzio conducting sales in the US could be preferred over Dimarzio. So yeah, he doesn't sound like much of a Dimarzio fan. But Dimarzio didn't just stop with the double cream trademark. They also attempted to, more recently, get a trademark for double cream with solid bar magnets, and this trademark was shot down by a trademark judge. The ruling is very detailed and it's very interesting. It's linked below in the description, but in a very, very short summary, it was ruled that this cream colour on this pickup just wasn't distinctive enough for Dimarzio to trademark, which is very interesting because some, in this case those some being Gibson, would argue that that same line of thinking should be applied to Dimarzio's older original trademark. So let's get to Gibson. They were the first to invent the humbucker pickup. Well, Seth Lover invented it, but he did it for Gibson, so it's still Gibson related very closely. But the point is, this consisted of two coils and then a metal cover on top. That's what's in the patent. The cover was supposed to help shield the pickup from electromagnetic interference, and it was designed to have this cover. With the cover on, you can't see the plastic coils underneath, so initially the colour of this plastic wasn't of too much concern. You can find original 50s Les Pauls that when you take the cover off, you'll find a mix of pickups. They can be black, they can be cream, they can be black and cream, they can be cream and black, and there's a mixture because there wasn't too much thought really put into people taking the covers off, but people did, and when they took them off, they showed what the colour of the pickup plastic was. And the other Dimarzio trademark that Gibson are trying to cancel is that for PAF or PAF. It's the letters that stood for patent applied for that was printed on the back of these original Gibson pickups, and Dimarzio print them on the back of their PAF or PAF model, and they have a trademark for it, and Gibson are trying to cancel it. Now, we know that Gibson aren't exactly shy about getting into a legal battle. They've been in a couple, but the writing was on the wall for this one just earlier this year when Gibson released their new line of pickups that were, they were calling them white, but they were cream. When this was announced, I did see some people predict that something was going to happen, and it seems that that something is happening now. So on to the juicy part. Guitar.com have done a very good article summarising the Gibson points well, so I'm going to read off that. The main arguments are as follows. Gibson takes priority over Dimarzio for both marks because it was selling guitars with double cream humbuckers and using patent applied for /PAF before Dimarzio was even founded. When Dimarzio filed for the trademarks, it didn't own the double cream design or the phrase patent applied for /PAF. Well, this is true, but with a bit of a caveat. While Gibson were the first to produce pickups with cream-coloured bobbins, it could be argued, and it's likely that we're going to see this argument in this court case, that the original design included the cover, and it's very much up for debate whether it was intended for that cover to come off or not. The name cover does imply that it could be taken off, but at the same time, it is included in the original Seth Lover patent. With that said, a core element of Dimarzio's defence is likely to be that they were the first to produce a double cream humbucking pickup that was available for sale as a replacement part. However, even that is up for debate, because there are examples like the original Bill Lawrence pickups that came out in 1965 that also claim to be the first replacement pickup for sale, and those were cream. So there's very much going to be some debate here. Because many other brands, Gibson included, have marketed both double cream humbuckers and PAF style humbuckers in the years since, the design and the word mark are now both generic, and therefore not trademarkable. Gibson's case cites a huge variety of brands from budget makers selling on Amazon to Wilkinson to Seymour Duncan. This is a good point from Gibson, because while Dimarzio's trademark is in the US, they don't have the trademark in the rest of the world, so any pickup builder not in the US or not importing into the US can make as many cream pickups as they want. Take Bare Knuckle for example. You can get any set of theirs in double cream because they're based in the UK. However, I don't believe that you can import them into the US because of Dimarzio's trademark. But with that said, every set of those cream pickups, not just from Bare Knuckle but from any brand outside of the US that goes into a guitar, is just another set that makes the cream colour more generic. It's not a Dimarzio pickup just because it's cream. And equally, the term PAF or PAF is also used very commonly to describe a type of pickup sound, not necessarily Dimarzio's pickup sound. So that would also be a good argument to say that it is a generic term. Though it is rather ironic that Gibson, of all brands, are making these points, and I personally think they're quite good points, when the same points have been made against the shapes that they make in several other legal battles that Gibson have fought tooth and nail against. Cream is a common colour for guitar plastics, pickguards, switch tips, etc. Guitarists modifying an instrument will want all of their guitar's plastics, including both humbucker bobbins, to match. Therefore, the design for this double cream pickup is functional and therefore not trademarkable. This was actually the same argument that was being made in the case that I was talking about before with the customer versus Dimarzio, because he didn't want Dimarzio pickups as the colour cream, he wanted other pickups in the colour cream so it would match his guitar. And I think most would agree that the colour of pickups do change the aesthetic of a guitar dramatically. You take a 1959 Les Paul and put in some neon green pickups, it's probably going to stand out a bit. And to many, it probably won't look as appealing. And I think the case is made that pickup colour will change the aesthetics, and therefore the aesthetics of the overall guitar being changed is a functional aspect of the colour, and you can't trademark function. The PAF mark is deceptively misdirective, in that because the guitar industry associates the patent applied for /PAF pickups with Gibson, Dimarzio's trademark is deceiving buyers into thinking Gibson has sanctioned its products in some way. I'm gonna have to disagree with that point. Gibson, at least according to Guitar.com, have argued that the PAF has become generic based off multiple other brands using it and using that term. If it's generic like they claim, they can't also claim that it's also synonymous with Gibson and implies that you would be buying a Gibson sanctioned product. You kind of have to pick one or the other here. It's generic or it's not. Now, this is the juicy one. At the time of the filings, Dimarzio was aware that Gibson was the owner of the double cream design and PAF term in relation to pickups. Therefore, it committed fraud on the US Trademark Office when it filed for the two trademarks. Now, this claim will be very hard to prove, but Dimarzio haven't helped themselves. I managed to secure a document that is allegedly part of Dimarzio's trademark application for the double cream mark. Hello, editing KDH here to give you some important context. The document I'm going to show you and be talking about is one that I remember being posted online when people were discussing the Dimarzio trademarks, and I was researching the topic for a video a couple of years ago now. And I remember this document, and I remember who posted it. So I contacted them and asked if they'd send me a copy, and they did. And this particular source is one that is involved in the industry, so that does add a little bit of weight behind it, and I have no reason to question the validity of this document. However, I've been unable to authenticate it fully because, well, I suppose it's a document from the 1970s. I simply couldn't find an official copy of Dimarzio's original trademark application from any US trademark source. So I attempted to double check. I contacted Dimarzio themselves to see if they could authenticate or completely disassociate from this particular document, but they did not get back to me. And I have no reason to believe that this is a falsified document. However, I have to be clear that I haven't been able to officially 100% authenticate it. This is allegedly from Larry Dimarzio, and at the time of the recording, I have contacted Dimarzio to verify this source, but they haven't got back to me yet. If they do, I will insert a clip and say what they said. If they haven't, I'm just going to start reading. As a player and someone professionally engaged in the repairing of guitars, I became familiar with guitars and pickups on the market, and prior to the introduction of the cream-coloured double bobbin configuration of the present application, no guitar pickups were identified by the cream-coloured double bobbin configuration, nor were replacement pickups sold, nor original guitars sold with pickups exposing their bobbins. Almost universally, the bobbins in pickups, prior to the introduction of the pickup in the present application, were black or navy blue. The cream-coloured double bobbin of the present application was designed primarily as a replacement pickup for the pickup in a Les Paul Gibson guitar or a replacement for a Gibson ES-175 pickup. I believe that the pickup in the ES-175 or the pickup in the Gibson Les Paul guitar came on the market in approximately 1957 with black bobbins under a cover. I further believe that that particular pickup is identified in a patent application by Seth Lover, applied for in 1955, wherein it is suggested that the cover be maintained on the pickup to reduce the background noise level. To my knowledge, the pickup bobbins under the covers in the Les Paul guitars were always either black or a black-like navy blue, with the exception of a very short period in 1959 where some bobbins may have been white. Now, it would be very hard to prove that Larry Dimarzio didn't think that was true. Maybe he genuinely thought that all of the original Gibson pickups were either black or a black-like navy blue, and in 1959 some may have been white. But Larry also owns an original 1959 Gibson Les Paul.
Hi, this is Larry Dimarzio, and this is my 1959 Cherry Sunburst Les Paul. There were only 1,700 of these guitars made, and very few with double cream and black and cream pickups.
Well, maybe he bought that after the trademark.
I bought that guitar in 1974.
And it's not the lighting or the aging making these pickups look cream either. In the comments of this video of Larry showing off his 59, he states that the pickups are cream the same as the binding and the pickup rings, so the plastics of the guitar. And he also states that double cream and zebra pickups coincide with the 1959 guitars. We could even go further and look at an original 1978 Dimarzio catalogue for the Dimarzio PAF, which states, "The PAF is a special pickup with a special sound. It is the sound of the patent applied for pickup made in 1957 to 1960. This sound is not one of sheer power, but of a warm tone and singing sustain. It has only been available until now to the limited number of players available to acquire old instruments. The PAF reproduces this sound as well as the original appearance and hardware." So according to Dimarzio's own advertisements, the original appearance that they are recreating of the PAF from 1957 to 1960 is that of double cream. Now, if Gibson win this, I don't think there's going to be a major loser. Sure, Dimarzio lose the trademark, but Gibson argued that these trademarks are generic and therefore can't be trademarked, which means that Gibson can't trademark them either. So that means that everybody will be able to use this, including Dimarzio. They won't lose out on not being able to make these pickups. It just means that other people will be able to make cream-coloured pickups too. This would mean more competition for Dimarzio, but from a consumer perspective, this would be a good thing, because more competition equals more choices for you. Anyway, that's the video. Liked it if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!